Welcome to the Polaris Open Day. And thank you so much, Petra, for that really informative talk. I have to say that I feel much calmer after your session. And mindfulness ties in so nicely to healthy eating as well. So it was such an informative session, and I think it's going to tie in great with what I have to say today as well. It's been a great morning, so many great speakers. Just a little short introduction of myself. My name is Christine Busuttil, and as Petra has already told you, I'm a registered nutrition therapist, and I have a master's in nutrition from Middlesex University. I've been practicing nutrition in Malta for over 10 years now, and I'm really happy to be part of the Polaris family. As a nutritionist, I help people with weight issues, healthy eating, and ways to manage illnesses through healthy eating and through nutrition and food management. I have to say, I love the way Petra and Gabby also touched on nutrition in their sessions. So it really shows that nutrition helps and has effects on all facets of somebody's life. So I'm glad the way that all of this has tied in together. It's been really, really good. Now, today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about key nutrients that you need to protect your immunity. Considering the situation at the moment, it seems like an appropriate topic. I'll also give you some pointers on how we can plan for healthy eating and what we need to do to make sure that ourselves and our families are making the most of the food that we eat. So, immunity can be strengthened by ensuring that it is supplied with all the necessary nutrients so that your immune system is in peak fighting performance. Things like stress, sugar, smoking, alcohol, and a poor diet can lower your immunity, so can make you more susceptible to getting sick, and it may take longer for you to recover. So this means that basically somebody who eats healthy and somebody who doesn't, or somebody has a very stressful life, could be two people could encounter the same type of illness. Like let's just use the common cold as an example. And the person whose immune system is stronger or who's been taking care of themselves, maybe through meditation to handle their stress and eating healthily, would recover more likely easier than somebody who actually hasn't been taking care of themselves properly and hasn't been eating nutritiously. So, providing the immune system with key nutrients is essential to making sure that we are in tip top shape and that our immune system is in tip top shape. So I'm going to start with vitamin C, and I'm sure everyone knows about vitamin C and the wonders of vitamin C to the immune system. And in Malta, we have a ton of oranges at this time of year, so it's a great way to make sure that you're getting enough of the vitamin C that you need. So vitamin C is not made in the body. So because it's not made in the body, you need to obtain it from the diet. So the average healthy person needs about 1,000 milligrams, which if you have a healthy diet and you're having that 5 to 7 portions of fruit and veg a day, you are getting that 1,000 mg that you need. So for those who don't have a poor diet, or those smokers particularly, and those who have a lot of stress in their life or have a very stressful job, chances are that your vitamin C requirements would be a little bit higher. So it might be advantageous to speak to a healthcare practitioner or to the pharmacist and get a vitamin C supplement so that you can supplement your diet and make sure that you're getting all the vitamin C that you need. Now, some of the natural sources of vitamin C, as we already know, that oranges and lemons play a very big part in vitamin C, are very rich in vitamin C. But you also have things like strawberries, which are also in season at the moment, kiwi, watermelon in the summer, things like watercress, parsley, sweet potato. They're all also very high in vitamin C. So they would also boost kind of your vitamin C levels to make sure that you're getting enough. So next, we're going to take a look at vitamin D. And I know many of you think that we live on a sunny island, we have enough vitamin D, who could possibly be deficient? However, studies show that 57% of the Maltese are deficient in vitamin C. I know that's very surprising, but it's true that many people who are tested, especially as you get older, we find that people start to, not have optimal, what we would consider optimal levels of vitamin D. And vitamin D plays such an important role in supporting your immune system. And it helps fight off pathogens, especially bacteria. So the best way to have enough vitamin D in your diet isn't really necessarily through food. Everybody mentioned as well before me about getting out on your balcony and getting out on your roof. Well, this is the best way to get the vitamin D. All you really need is 10 to 15 minutes out on the balcony, out on the roof, have your face uncovered and your arms uncovered, and just that 10 to 15 minutes for most people is enough to make sure that they're getting a sufficient amount of vitamin D. Now, as you get older, our skin does not become as is no longer as efficient at absorbing vitamin D. So it could be advantageous to include some food products as well that would add to your vitamin D supplies. So things like egg yolk. I know a lot of people are afraid of egg yolk because of cholesterol, but you shouldn't be because it's a healthy fat. And it does you a lot of good as well as being rich in vitamin D. Things like oily fish, salmon, mackerel are two very, very good sources of oily fish, and those can be included in your diet, as well as the bones of fish is quite good for you. And then cereals, often cereals, if you look at the packaging, you'll notice that they've been fortified with vitamin D. And for people who are vegans who don't eat fish or eggs, then things like button mushrooms and the portobello mushrooms are really good. And there are also a lot of fortified nut milks that they're fortified with vitamin D. So those would be good sources for you to include in your diet as well. Okay, so after vitamin D, the third nutrient I want to look at is zinc. Zinc is a really powerful antioxidant, and studies show that zinc assists the immune system from pretty much spiraling out of control. Other studies show that people who have sufficient zinc, levels of zinc, can reduce the severity and the duration of the common cold. So it shows you how powerful zinc is. And some of the common like foods that would be rich in zinc would be things like shellfish, lentils, and legumes that can be added to your soups. So you can make a nice large pot of soup with a lot of colorful vegetables and make sure that you include either the orange lentils or the green lentils. All of these would be great additions to your soup, along with getting all the vitamins and minerals from that soup. You're also getting the zinc from the lentils and the legumes that you add. And then nuts and seeds, there's such a variety. Make sure that your nuts and seeds are not roasted and not salted so that you benefit from the healthy oils. There's a large variety out there, and nowadays you'll find a large variety of raw as well, so that you do benefit from those healthy oils. And a lot of nice nut milks. Make sure your nut milks are natural as well, and it's very easy to make at home yourself. Seeds like sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds. Make sure the flax seeds are milled because they are better absorbed that way, difficult to absorb them when they're left whole. And then things like meat and eggs and your whole grains. Make sure that your whole grains are full of fiber. So I'll be talking about that a little bit later as well. And the fourth nutrient that I want to touch on for your immune system would be selenium. So, selenium is an essential mineral. It's needed in small quantities as such, so you don't really need a large amount of it. However, it plays an essential role in your immunity. So, selenium is considered a powerful antioxidant, which reduces inflammation and enhances immunity. And high levels have been shown to boost your immune system. And rich sources are Brazil nuts. You just really need two Brazil nuts a day. And that's quite a rich source of selenium. And then things like tuna. Eggs, as you can see, eggs seems to be a popular one in every category. So make sure you're having those eggs and don't be afraid. You can have 1 to 2 eggs a day and they won't harm you. Sardines are great. Sardines can be added to salad, they can be added to pasta sauces. Sunflower seeds, which can be added to your yogurt, or if you have a fruit salad and you sprinkle sunflower seeds on top, and fruits and vegetables grown in selenium rich soil. I know that you won't know that if the soil is rich in selenium or not, but yes, the fruits and veg that have been grown in selenium rich soil would then pass on selenium to you. So although those would be what I would consider the key nutrients. And later on, I will also, under the comments, be posting a list of 10 vegetables which are considered powerhouse immunity boosters. I'll post that in the comments, linked to this video later on, so that you have those as well. You really, what you're looking for is to get a really balanced diet. That's the key. So although all those nutrients I mentioned are essential to protecting and fighting pathogens, a healthy balanced diet is what we're really looking or aiming for, because that's going to protect overall. So as I said earlier, studies show that poor diet, stress, obesity, and sedentary can compromise your immunity. Therefore, you should ensure that your diet is clean and it contains whole foods. So, what do I mean by whole foods? We're looking at fresh fruit, vegetables, whole grains, which are high in fiber. Looking at things like eggs, fish, meat. Looking at kind of the farmer or the butcher to you. So trying to avoid these things that have been ready-made, things that have ingredients in them that you don't really recognize when you look over at the ingredient list when you're shopping. So these are the sorts of things that you want to avoid. You want to, in your diet, you want to make sure that you're including things that are going to nourish you the best, that you're not including a lot of empty calories in your diet, because those are doing nothing for you. Okay, so half your plate should always include a variety of colorful veg to make sure that you're getting all the antioxidants you need. So, you have your greens, your orange, your yellow, include it all and make sure that half the plate is full of that. Then you're looking at a palm size of protein. We need protein, but we don't need the amount that we generally put in our plate. So if you're looking at a palm size, your palm size, and the thickness of your palm, that is about sufficient for protein. And whole grains, just about a fistful. Whole grains should be full of fiber, so you're looking at the packaging to make sure that you are getting enough fiber. Fiber keeps you fuller, it slows down digestion, it doesn't make your glucose rise as high as things that would be lacking in fiber. So these are what we should be looking for. So if I'm looking at rice, I'm looking at rice that is brown rice, whole grain rice, looking at whole grain pastas. Seeded breads are great. So I'm not an advocate of removing carbohydrates from your diet, but we want to make sure that we're getting the right carbohydrates and that the carbohydrates that we're getting are full of fiber. Another way to include fiber in your diet is, again, as I mentioned earlier, would be the legumes and lentils. I'm a big fan. And I would say that you would need at least one portion a day of the legumes and lentils to make sure that you're upping the fiber content in your diet. So make sure to include them. You can include them in salads. When I think of just some of the ones that come to the top of my head, we're looking at kidney beans and chickpeas that can be added very easily to salad. You can use organic tinned ones, but you can also, a better choice would be the dried ones. Most recently, I soaked them and decided to experiment to see that if I soak them and then put them in the freezer, would they still be good afterwards? And actually, to my surprise, yes. So, you can boil a lot, put it in the freezer, and then pull them out. You can make dips out of them, Bigilla being a really popular one here in Malta. And we need to make sure that we're hydrating ourselves. So we're getting at least that 2 liters of water. Now, when I say water, we don't mean water in coffees and teas, drinks that contain caffeine or from soft drinks, but we're looking at pure filtered water. Herbal teas are another good one. So if you're a fan of having a warm drink, then a herbal tea would be a great way to up your water intake and make sure that you're getting enough. So you're probably asking yourself, so this seems like a lot to deal with, and how do I go about structuring to make sure that I'm including all of this stuff in my diet on a daily basis? Well, the key to all of this really is planning, and it's not as difficult as it seems. May seem daunting in the beginning, but in actuality, if you sit down and you plan your week, you plan your day. What I like to do is I sit down on a Thursday and I make a menu for a week. I find that this works really, really well for me. And then I plan my shopping list around my menu. So I picture the items that we commonly use for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and what sort of snacks I want to have in the house. I have 2 teenagers in the house. I'm constantly telling them about healthy eating and making sure that they're getting all of the proper nutrients they need. So I make sure that I have a good picture of what I need. I check my cupboards. I see what's missing and making sure that all the whole foods are there. Then I shop according to the plan. So I know day by day exactly what I will cook for dinner. Now, knowing what you cook for dinner, so that if you know that if you want chicken in the evening, then before you leave for work, then you've pulled out the chicken in the morning because you know that that's what you've planned for that evening. So you're not coming home and thinking at the last minute, oh, I want chicken, but I didn't pull that out of the freezer and it's too late to defrost it now. So what am I going to do? So let's make a, pot of pasta. And then we end up eating pasta 3 or 4 times a week because we haven't planned. So planning is key. And once you get into this routine, it's amazing. It's just makes your life so much easier. And you're making sure that everybody is eating really healthy. So when you shop, just make sure you stick to the shopping list. When you have a shopping list, you're less likely to pull things off of the shelf that you don't need, things that are full of empty calories that won't be nourishing you. All right. Now, lastly, it's about being moderate with healthy eating. So you want to use the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time I'm eating healthy, 20% of the time I say it's life. So there's birthdays, you're going out for dinner, having a party. So you just need to make sure that 80% of the time your diet is clean and full of whole foods. Okay. And I'll also be posting an immune boosting smoothie under the comments so that you're going to get that as well, as well as the list of foods that I discussed earlier. What I want to say about food planning as well is everybody talked about children, and I haven't talked about children today. Include your children in planning meals. School isn't just about books and worksheets. You can take those skills that they have at school at the moment and take those and reinforce them in the kitchen, reinforce them reinforce reading skills, reinforce writing skills, reinforce math skills by letting them help you prepare food, measuring things out in cups and grams, using the weighing scale, making sure that they help you with the shopping list so that they kind of understand, yeah, what is healthy, what's not healthy, what should we be filling our shopping list with, maybe getting them to write the shopping list, getting them to help with the meal plan. All of these things can really be like a family activity at the moment, um, and reinforce everything that they've learned in school. It kind of would help them understand. A lot of kids, I think, why am I learning this anyway? I know I used to think that a lot as a kid. And you kind of get them to understand that, you know what, this is why we're learning it, because to prepare a recipe and to prepare food, then you need to be able to measure, you need to be able to add up what you're having and make sure. So, all of these skills can be reinforced. So you can really include your family in this. I just want to say thank you so much. Thanks to Polaris for having me speak today. And thanks to all of you who tuned in to listen to me. I hope you enjoyed and are able to take something away from my talk here today. Um, I see clients at Polaris on Saturdays. So if you're looking for a one-to-one consultation at the moment, while you're at home, feel that maybe you're out of control with your eating, I'm giving online consultations, and these can be booked through the Contact Us area on the Polaris Facebook page. We'll also be breaking for lunch after this session. But please tune in again at 1 o'clock. Corinne's going to be here discussing the 3 C's of homeschooling, which I know everybody's finding frustrating. So I'm sure you'll find this talk really informative. Polaris is a great place, a lot of great practitioners. So it would be really, really good if you could offer a donation. Thank you so much for listening to me. Please support us. Stay safe and have a great weekend.